Hello and welcome to another week on my channel. This week is going to be kind of fun. We are going to be going over recipes, recipes that your grandma would make, and just different recipes that we do in our home on a weekly basis. I actually forgot to film the loaf for this sourdough, but usually I always start the day or week with prepping my sourdough starter. This was the day before. As I've said before, I always like to start the day with a fresh kitchen and unloading the dishes so that when I'm prepping throughout the day or cleaning, I just load the dishwasher and I don't have to worry about making a mess on top of a mess. I decided I wanted to make a Dutch baby pancake. Today I wasn't really feeling like I wanted to make much of a mess, so Dutch baby pancakes usually use the skillet and a bowl, and that's pretty much it. The recipe for this Dutch baby is pretty simple. I believe it's 4 eggs, a cup of milk, a cup of flour. You can add some vanilla, a little tablespoon of sugar, and after that you just whisk everything together and that's pretty much it. You use about 2 tablespoons of butter in the skillet, and I would preheat the oven while you're prepping the items as well as heating up the skillet. It's important that you have a hot skillet before you pour the recipe in. This is to prevent sticking. Oh, and oops, please add a little bit of salt in there. I think I added a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I absolutely love watching these things poof up. They look different every time and they lower pretty well, and I pretty much just cut them like I would a pizza. I usually have them with fruit, but I didn't have much fruit. We have to go grocery shopping. A little bit of sugar or powdered sugar just for looks and because it tastes good, and then some syrup. The next recipe I wanted to try was pickled onions. This is literally the first time I'm doing this, so please have mercy on me. I'm going off of a simple recipe of hot water, salt, sugar, a little bit of lemon juice to help preserve it, and then of course vinegar and the onions. Now, one thing that I saw online was that people were dicing them. I don't really like having long strands of onions when I'm eating tacos or avocado toast or whatnot, so I decided to dice them. I'm whisking the ingredients here with my frother. I used a 14-ounce jar. I believe this recipe was maybe for a 16-ounce because I ended up having to add more onions after. I only did 1/2 of the onions in this video, but I ended up actually using the other half of the onion, pressing down on the liquid, and that made me have more of a fuller jar. Once everything is diced and put into the jar, all you do is shake it up a little bit and let it sit on your counter for 2 hours. If it goes over 2 hours, that's okay, but generally around 2 hours. And then you leave it in your fridge overnight, and you can use this on pretty much anything you like. We're getting into some of our dinner recipes. This is not necessarily a healthy recipe. We're gonna do sloppy joe with mac and cheese and some deviled eggs. I was trying to use up all the meat I had in my freezer this week, so this is earlier this week. I always do onions and peppers at the base of our sloppy joe, some ketchup or tomato sauce, and a little bit of brown sugar. I was not measuring here. I just kind of went off of a generalization. While you're cooking everything, I make the mac and cheese. I make mac and cheese differently every time, but this time I wanted to make a sauce, so I do some butter, milk, cream cheese, a little bit of mustard, and shredded cheese. My daughter was trying to take an egg there. And then paprika, salt, and pepper. And it's supposed to be, kind of stringy, not too thick, so that when you put the noodles in, it kind of sticks to the pasta. I had to share a stop at my local antique shop. We are so blessed to have a lot of stores near us. Now, this is an antique store. I consider antiquing and thrifting differently. This store I don't get to go to often because my daughter likes to touch things and grab things and break things. So this was a fun treat, and I ended up leaving with a few things. So it was really fun. Like I said before, I consider antiquing differently. A lot of these items in this store were very old. Some things were newer, but it was really fun to see. I ended up seeing 2 coffee grinders, and I wish I would have gotten at least one because I've been looking for those for a while. This was so fun to find, especially around Valentine's Day. Lots of cute items that I got to add to our kitchen. I've been looking for a holder for our utensils, so this was good to see. Chocolate chip cookies are literally a weekly staple in our home, especially ones that are baked fresh from home. I have 2 different recipes that, if I can remember, I'll add to the description. I was making my sourdough chocolate chip cookie, so sourdough discard. It's just a basic cookie recipe. And then also I do just a standard chocolate chip recipe. To be honest, I prefer the ones that don't have sourdough discard in them, not for the taste, but it made them so fluffy. And then when I left the dough in the fridge, because I made a lot of dough, I realized that it fermented a little, so it made them even fluffier and rise even more the second time around that I made them, and they tasted more sourdough, sourdough taste the second time. Overall, though, they were really good either way, and this time around I was able to make a larger batch, so it was really tasty. I always say when you're cooking the way Grandma cooks, nothing is aesthetically pleasing, but things tend to taste so good when you take the time and add ingredients like butter and oils and, sugars. It always tastes really good. This meal was just a standard chicken taco recipe. I also wanted to add a point that when we're talking about nutrition, and this is my daughter here, she loves to be in the kitchen with me. When I talk about nutrition, I am not a nutritionist by any means, and honestly, we try to eat as healthy as possible in our house. You can see, though, if you're paying attention to my videos, that I have ingredients and items in our home that have additives, have phosphates that are not the best. Sometimes I give my daughter cookies that are straight off the shelf. It's something that I would say we're working on in our home. Our goal is to fully bake from scratch in the long run. That would be amazing because then I know where the ingredients are coming from. But even though we do our best, and even though we have those moments where we cave, we have McDonald's, you're out and about, you're rushing, you grab, the juice that has too much sugar in it, we still do our best. We still try. This was actually a small meat haul from our local meat butcher store that we go to. We absolutely love them. They are so sweet. Every time we go in there, the owner gives us something to try. He knows my daughter. She likes to go in there with a shopping cart. And I actually get our tallow there. So it's a really, really fun place. All in all, with nutrition and trying to eat healthy, I do know that there are not so healthy ingredients out there. We know what we're putting into our bodies, and if I don't know, I try to look things up. I really want to make a fresh, home where we're eating fresh ingredients, we're eating what we make, but life happens and it's okay. And I am not here to judge anybody. As you can see, I splurge and, we eat out and life happens. But my goal, like I said, is to cook from scratch as much as possible, find healthy ingredients, and do the best I can for my family. I love tortellini and Alfredo or white sauce with pasta. Alfredo noodles and Alfredo is one of my favorite pastas to eat. I decided to make tortellinis because my daughter loves tortellinis. She will eat them no matter what sauce I put on them. And we just ended up eating them with one of the cheese sausages that we got from the butcher. Thank you so much for checking out what we eat in a week at my home, a little thrifting, a little bit about nutrition this week. I hope you have a blessed week and that all of your dreams and goals this week come true. See you next week.